Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we talk about Deku was a mercenary. So, in the last video, Deku, it's finally time for the sports festival after Izuku finished up his training in his swordsmanship. So, Izuku finished up the two events, being the cavalry battle and the, you know, the obstacle race pretty much easily. Thanks to Izuku's quick thinking, Izuku finished up the cavalry battle pretty quick. Anyway, after Izuku was fighting with Bakugo and also tricking him that he would win, well, Bakugo didn't have any teams in the cavalry battle, and because of that, he lost and Izuku won that match. And now, we're gonna be going off to the final event of the UA Sports Festival, being the one-on-one battle. So this is going to be the end of this explanation, and now, let's start off the video. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku is now in the locker rooms, getting ready to change, as Izuku sees Bakugo in a furious rage, as he looks over and sees Izuku, as he says this: "How the hell did you beat me? I'm supposed to be the number one here. The number frickin' one." As Izuku just says this: "Well, because of your attitude being so predictable, I easily defeated you because of that. And that's why I was there. Unlike you, who used your more powerful quirk, quote unquote, to try and defeat everybody. But instead, you made them all hate you. And because of this, well, you're nothing more than a pathetic little brat. And that's why I won, because I had brains unlike your brawn." As Bakugo was completely pissed. And because of that, it was the end of that conversation. And so, the next event is finally going to be the end of the sports festival, being the, wait for a second, being the one-on-one battles. So, Izuku sees that the first match is between him and a man named Shinso. Izuku already knows about Shinso during the cavalry battle, and apparently his quirk is a type of mind-controlling quirk, which only works if a person answers his question, or questions. And because of this, Izuku knows about his little power. And now, Izuku is also pretty wary of him. And so, the fight is about to begin. And because of this, Izuku started getting ready for that match. So, Izuku starts wearing his specially made boots. But it's not normal boots, by the way, because I did say special. These special boots allow him to create these special blades. The blades being the wheelie blades, the ones that look like, pizza cutters. Anyway, so Izuku started going to the little area where Izuku's gonna be fighting Shinso. As Izuku sees Shinso waiting for him, as Midnight snaps her whip and says this: "Go!" As Izuku gets ready, as Shinso just says this. So, they're pretty blessed with that quirk. Unlike me, this quirk that I have is a curse. How the hell did you ever get into UA when your quirk is better than me? I was cursed with this stupid, horrible quirk. And you privileged little shit." As Izuku just walks over, sorry about that. Izuku starts walking over to him, as Izuku doesn't answer his question, as he says this: "I said, talk to me! I said, listen to me!" Izuku doesn't listen to him, but keeps walking towards him. Shinso was getting a bit afraid, as Izuku creates a blunt weapon, being a blunt little like knife. This blunt knife, it won't like kill him, but it will hurt a lot. So Izuku comes towards him and slices off a bit of his, um, like Izuku made a scar on his face as Izuku kicks him off the arena, causing him to win. But Shinso doesn't get hurt in the process. The knife slash that he got was not really painful or really dangerous, but it's still pretty, well, pain inducing. So, Izuku's next fight is between him and another kid. But instead of Todoroki, this kid was different. Wait for a second. Being Momo. As Momo just thinks in her mind, so I'm going to be fighting Izuku. This is going to be hard. So, Izuku comes up as Izuku sees Momo getting ready, creating her little staff. As the match begins, Izuku starts charging towards her as she creates her gigantic staff, which resembles Song Wukong's famous staff in the famous novel Journey to the West. But this staff doesn't grow in size, instead it shoots out lasers. Yeah, you heard that right. It shoots out lasers. Yeah, she made this staff after a little incident. During in her company, or her father's company, there was a personnel or a professor that was creating a special type of like hero weapon, which was able to transform into any weapon that he desires. But it was never allowed, so yeah. So she created a similar weapon, but instead it only transforms into twins, being a staff and a laser shooting weapon, which, let's just say it's a gun. So, she starts shooting at Izuku as Izuku creates a sword shield. Not sword and shield, more like a sword shield, a mix of a sword and a shield, which is basically looks like a Indian guitar mixed with a shield. But the shield also has blades, so yeah, you get it. As everybody saw the shield blade, as one of them, being the commentators, being wait for a second, being President Mike, says this. Um, did you say that Izuku was not able to create any other weapons but besides like bladed weapons, like for example, like swords and knives? As he says this, correct? As he says this, then how did he make that shield sword thing? As he says this, oh yeah, that shield sword thing was a weapon that's specially created for taking down any type of enemy, but it isn't a normal sword slash blade. This blade is basically like a mix of a broadsword and a shield, making it heavier and much more easier to manage when fighting. As he says this, huh. So basically, it's a type of, what is that called? As he says this, being Aizawa, uh, it's called an Indian guitar, but instead it has, well, has like four blades. Izuku, while fighting, wait for a second, Momo, one of them, another person, was looking as well, being Izuku's real mother, Inko. Inko was impressed at Izuku's abilities, seeing him fight like that, seeing him fight so aggressively, seeing him like that, makes her feel even more enraged. She wants she wants Izuku to have a happy life, not being a hero, because it's a dangerous job. So that's why she wanted her daughter instead to become a hero. But for her son, she wanted him to act by her side. But ever since she was, got her son being Izuku taken away from her, well, she was completely angry. And so she wants Izuku back, but she also wants him to stop being a hero, wanting him to at least, have a normal life. Not as a hero, but instead a normal person. as normal as a person that's able to use blades. Wait for a second. So, Izuku, after defeating, well, Momo, during that time when, Inko was thinking, Inko saw that Izuku won, as she says this. Huh. Izuku actually trained pretty well, but I still want Izuku to have a normal life, not being a hero. So, the final match is finally decided, being Izuku against, instead of Bakugo, instead, it was Jiro. So, Izuku steps up as Jiro says this. So, are you ready? As Izuku just says this. Ready as I'll ever be. As the match begins, as Izuku says this. Stop. As Izuku just says this. I forfeit the match. As everybody just says, what? As Izuku just explains, I don't want my fiance ever getting hurt, so I forfeit the match. I want Jiro to win. As everybody heard that statement, well, Inko, when she heard that statement, she says this. Wait a minute. Fiance? As Izuku just leaves the arena, as, well, wait for a second, sorry about that. As Jiro was declared the winner. And so, the next event starts, being the event where everybody is going to be rewarded with their medals. Jiro being first place, Izuku becoming second place, and finally, wait for a second again, Todoroki becoming third. And so, the match has finally ended. So, before they leave, there was going to be a little speech for, well, a girl. This girl being Izumi Iruma, being Izuku's long-lost sister, as she says this. This is not a speech that's actually for me. In actuality, it's for my mother. Here, mother, here. As she grabs the microphone, as she says this. Thank you, Izumi. I wanted to tell you all a story back in my youth. Back when I didn't realize my actions. I had crippling debt. And because of this, my son, Izuku, was taken away from me. I missed him. I missed him so much. But I realized that he was here in the UA high school. In this high school. And I want him back. I want him back. I want him back. After Izuku, my son, was taken away from me from that bitch Sakura. Now, I found him. You're Izuku Midoriya, right? From the over there, from class 1A, right? As everybody looks and sees Izuku, as Izuku just says this. Wait, real mother? I don't know who the hell you are. As she says this to herself. Wait, did he forget all about me? I mean, it's been a long time since he's seen me, but... She kind of looks enraged as she says this. Sakura, you're the one who made my son forget about me, and I want him back for what you did. I want my revenge on you, who captured my son and changed him. As Izuku just says this. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sorry, but I'm not your son. You're crazy. And besides, even if I have like the same name as your long-lost son, it doesn't mean that I'm actually your long-lost son. As she says this, then what about your hair color? Your eye, or at least a part of your eye, it seems to be a bit more, a bluish color. and one of your eyes is completely red. But you look exactly what my my late husband looked like, and and you looked just like me. As Sakura arrives, being Izuku's foster mother, or should I say, quote unquote, real mother, as she says this: "What are you doing with my son, you damn crazy? You're just crazy. This is actually my son. You're just crazy." As she says this: "Oh, I'm crazy," says the one who captured and took away my son and brainwashed him. As they argued and argued, as both of them were stopped, as All Might says this, we should stop now. This is going to be the end of the UA Sports Festival, so all of you can go home now. I'll be this. Uh, uh. So, as Izuku starts leaving with his quote unquote real mother, being Sakura, Izuku sees Bakugo, as Bakugo said this: "You're my childhood friend's long lost brother?" Ugh. It doesn't mean that I had to respect you or whatever. As Izuku just says this: "I told you, I am not related with that girl or that woman." As he says this: "Whatever." As Izuku, while leaving with his real mother, or quote unquote real mother, Sakura, Izuku sees Izumi and Inko, as Inko comes towards, well, wait for a second, starts walking forward and starts moving towards Sakura, as she slaps Sakura across the face, causing her sunglasses to basically, fall out, or fall out. As she says this: "You took it away, my son, and you brainwashed him. You're a monster. A monster." As she says this: "So I'm the monster, huh?" Says the woman who does whatever the hell she wants just because she has higher status in this world. As she says this: "What did you say? This is my son you're talking about. My son that you literally captured and brainwashed." As, well, wait for a second. As Izumi starts pulling on the coat of Inko, as she says this: "Mom, please don't fight here." As she says this: "This isn't over. I will bring Izuku back, and I will bring our real family. You hear me, you bitch?" As Izuku just looks at Sakura, being Izuku's quote unquote real mother, as she says this: "Let's just leave Izuku." So, they left as they came back home, as both her and him started eating dinner, as Izuku just says this: "Is it true, Mom?" As she says this: "Is it what true?" As Izuku just says this: "Is it true that I'm not your real son? Am I, was, was I just," as she says this: "Yes, you're not really my son." As Izuku just says this: "So you're not my real mother." As she says this: "Correct. The reason why is because back then I was a bit of a tyrant. But ever since you came into my life, you changed me. Made me more motherly and nicer. But back then I was a tyrant, getting money whenever I can. If they don't pay, well, I would take away their most precious valuables, even children. But when I did, I would mostly just sell them off and put them into orphanages. In this case, when I saw you, I didn't know what to do with you. And so, I decided for you to join the Asan Aisaba, so you can learn how to become a mercenary. So you can help me. As Ezekiel just says this. So you used me. As she says this. No, it's nothing like that. It's just... I was just a dumb idiot. I'm such a worthless mother, right? Using a child to get her money. It's quite pathetic, right? As Izuku just looks over and sees her sad and sullied face. As Izuku just says this. No. You're after all the one who raised me, who teached me. And I cherished that every day. I cherished everything. And that is why I thank you. Even though you weren't my real mother, I love you. I love you just like a real mother. Ezekiel cried. He never cried before. Ever since when he came to the Asana Isaba, he would cry every day. But just keep, or or should I just say, kept on, well, bottling up, or just bottling up all of his, frustrations, and only use that frustration as power, as fuel for his job as a mercenary. But Izuku never cried before ever since that day, or those days. As she says this, Izuku, she starts crying as well. As she cries on Izuku's arms. As Izuku just says this, don't worry, Mom. Or should I just call you Sakura? Just anything, says Sakura. As Izuku just says this, okay, Mother. So, and that would be the end of the episode. And so, I hope you liked the video. Comment, subscribe, and like so you can, see more videos and also help me with the algorithm. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!